It's been a little while, but we're back with another 6 amazing games to play in ultrawide or 21:9. We've done quite a few of these ultrawide videos over the years, so check the playlist to see all the games we've covered in the past. The links to all the videos will also be in the description below. For those who are curious, I'm playing all these games on an ASUS ROG SWIFT 34-inch ultrawide gaming monitor at 3440 by 1440 and using an RTX 3080 graphics card. And last but not least, make sure to leave a comment regarding your personal favourite games to play in ultrawide. Starting off the list, we have the very recently released Uncharted Legacy of Thieves collection for PC. This game includes the 2 newest Uncharted games, Uncharted 4 A Thief's End and Uncharted The Lost Legacy, and have been ported and upgraded from the PlayStation to the PC. The Uncharted games are all about hunting for long lost treasure in old and ancient destinations. Exploring these destinations involves climbing cliffs and buildings, swinging ropes, and both stealthing or shooting your way through enemies looking to stop you. This game franchise includes some phenomenal and enormous set pieces with some crazy beautiful environments. It's a pretty linear game altogether, but doesn't feel like it whilst you're playing through these crazy levels. The game itself runs at 21:9, while the cutscenes are in 16:9. These cutscenes can be fixed through the flawless widescreen app, but sometimes it doesn't always work perfectly. Running the game at max settings, it often sap between 60 all the way up to 100 FPS. In some of the more busy areas, either with a lot of people or a lot of lighting effects, the frame rate did seem to drop quite a bit in these areas, all the way down to around 30 or 35 or so. For some reason though, whenever the game progressed to a new level, the frames would drop all the way down to 20 to 30 FPS, and would only fix itself when I quit the game and reopened it, bringing the game back up to its normal high frame rate. I'm not 100% sure why this happened, but hopefully this is something that's fixed soon. Despite the fact I've never played Uncharted before, this game made me want to run through the rest of the series because of how much I enjoyed it. And as usual, these PlayStation ports always make me wish for more, like The Last of Us or Ghost of Tsushima on PC in ultrawide would be glorious.
There goes my shoulder. There's Vargas. I want a cut. I want in. I'll give you in. Oh, crap. No. Whoa!
Our second game is one that I reviewed very recently on the channel by the name of Resident Evil 2 Remake, link will be in the description. The game follows 2 characters by the names of Leon Kennedy and Claire Redfield as they find themselves in the zombie-infested Raccoon City. This is considered a horror game and will likely make you jump multiple times whilst playing it. You won't be speeding through huge, beautifully lit open worlds, but instead will be slowly moving your way through the dark and dingy buildings, streets and sewers, with often nothing but a flashlight to help light your way. The game revolves around a combination of third-person shooting and quite a lot of puzzles to be solved. Each area is detailed and will often require you to learn your way around quite proficiently. To get the true ending of the game, you'll have to play through as both characters, as their stories split and branch from different points. The game itself, as well as the HUD, are in 21:9, while unfortunately the cutscenes are in 16:9. There are fixes for this if you play the game in the DirectX 11 mode without ray tracing. Running the game at max settings, it's set above 60 FPS at basically all times. And I just want to say that the Resident Evil 3 remake has great ultrawide support all round, but it's just nowhere near as good of a game as Resident Evil 2. I absolutely loved this game and I'm already considering playing through it again when I get the chance.
Jesus! They're everywhere! Come on.
Next up is the game that is currently and will most likely be my game of the year, and possibly in my top 3 games of all time. That game is Elden Ring. Now you may be screaming at me right now, telling me that the game doesn't have ultrawide support, and you'd be right. But with the marvellous flawless widescreen application, you can turn this game from having no support to a game that looks and plays amazingly in ultrawide. This fix will convert both the gameplay and cutscenes to 21:9, but the HUD will still stay at 16:9. You can adjust your FOV, screen vignetting, and more with this beautiful tool. When this game was released, I had no interest or hype towards it whatsoever. A few days later, with the reviews at the time, I decided to try it out. I then found one of the best games of all time, if you can handle difficult games, and became addicted, posting endless videos to my TikTok and even a few to this account. Everything from the expertly designed open world that doesn't hold your hand in the slightest, to the phenomenal collection of amazing, dangerous, and awe-inspiring bosses and areas. This game has it all, despite being the first Souls game that I've played for more than a few hours. It's somehow settled as the peak of my video game experience this year. Something a little different next with Total War Warhammer 3. This is a real-time strategy game that is the third game in the mighty trilogy tackling the huge world of Warhammer. Command one of many armies or factions through a fully fledged campaign, declaring war against or aligning yourself with other races and factions, using diplomacy or raiding their strongholds to get what you want. If you own all three Total War Warhammer games, you'll gain access to the Immortal Empires campaign, which includes a huge campaign consisting of the entire world of Warhammer, built up over all three games with over 200 factions all vying for control, around 80 of which are playable, giving you literally endless content within this game. The battles feel insanely large scale and epic. I'm horrible at the game currently and get destroyed more than I'd like, but it's still so much fun watching the huge armies, gigantic beasts, and vehicles all enter glorious battle. The gameplay and cutscenes both sit at 21:9, which is fantastic, and if you turn the HUD off during battles, it's such an enjoyable experience to watch. I played the game on high settings and often sat around 50 to 60 FPS, but often had dips during some of the more intense combat. On the overworld during campaigns, the FPS seemed to often drop to single digits whilst other factions were taking their turns, but still stayed relatively low most of the time on the overworld, unfortunately. I reckon it'd still take me another 40 hours to start fully understanding and getting good at this game, but it's such a fun and in-depth experience, and I honestly need them to make a Warhammer 40,000 Total War. LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga was released the same month as Elden Ring, meaning despite it being a game I was super excited for, it got very little attention from myself at the time. But this game thrusts you into the Star Wars universe in LEGO form, covering all 9 movies from the Skywalker Saga, from The Phantom Menace all the way up to The Rise of Skywalker. It's a comical take on the Star Wars story, and helps add a good amount of humour to not so humorous scenes. If you're a big Star Wars fan or played the older Star Wars LEGO games, I think you'll really love this as a chance to play through the movies in order. You'll also unlock basically every character ever mentioned or even not mentioned in the Star Wars universe, opening up every level you beat to be played through again with any character. Say for example, fighting Darth Maul on Naboo with the Mandalorian, or taking on Kylo Ren on Starkiller Base with General Grievous. It's all doable, which is what makes this game so much fun. Combine that with the free exploration to basically all planets to discover endless secrets and hidden areas, and this game is almost any Star Wars fan's dream. The gameplay itself all runs at a solid 21:9, including the cutscenes, which are one of my favourite parts of the game, and they run at a literal 21:9, meaning that there are the tiniest black bars on each side of the screen during these cutscenes, but nothing too noticeable. I was playing on max settings and the game seemed to run anywhere between 60 to over 100 FPS, with very occasional dips below 60 when there was a lot of particles on screen. If you're a Star Wars fan, you can't go wrong with this definitive LEGO Star Wars experience.
Ambassador, shall we begin negotiations?
Vader is in the building!
Last but certainly not least, we have A Plague Tale Requiem. I literally finished the first game in this series, A Plague Tale Innocence, the day this game came out. I need to specify that you should aim to play Innocence first, as it's a relatively story-focused game, but the first game doesn't support ultra-wide, so keep that in mind. A Plague Tale Requiem continues on the story of a brother and sister in 14th century France, navigating their way through a dark and corrupt world full of both dangerous people and insanely dangerous rat plagues. It's a sort of action-adventure game with stealth elements. A lot more combat has been brought into the game this time round compared to the previous title, meaning stealth isn't always necessary. You may even get a kind of The Last of Us vibes from this game, but maybe that's just me. The game seemed to run at 21:9 both whilst playing and also during cutscenes, and I didn't seem to encounter any noticeable 16:9 or black bars at any point. As soon as you enter this world, you'll see just how large, expansive and beautiful it is, despite being an overall linear game. One large issue the game does have is its performance though. I dropped the game from max settings to high and still often sat below 60 FPS. Majority of the time it seemed to be between 35 and 70 FPS, but down in the 40s more than I'd have liked. If the performance of this game is sorted sometime soon, then it will be an almost flawless ultra-wide experience. But again, I still recommend checking out the first game in the series because I absolutely loved it.
We've got light. We're safe for now. We're safe. We're safe.
Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed these 6 more amazing looking games to play in ultra-wide or 21:9. If you did, make sure to leave a like and also comment your favourite games for ultra-wide in case I've missed any, and maybe even hit that subscribe button if you're really feeling it. And peace out everyone.
They're here for him. Yes, that will hold.
Look! They're climbing!
What? How?
This is so bad!
We get to that tower, get Voda,